Is there not a shred of proof the 2020 election was rigged? I'm having trouble telling if Trump is lying or genuinely believes there was corruption. Which in my opinion isn't a far cry to assume there is some corruption in our election process. I'm having trouble telling if Trump is lying. People in New York knew he was a conman 35 years ago. They kicked him out of the elite social circles after, the second bankruptcy. He's functionally illiterate and didn't write this own memoirs. Where you been, mate? A nuclear silo? Of course he's a lying two-faced conman. Do pandas eat bamboo? Honorable men telling the truth don't throw mammoth tantrums on the world stage when they don't get their way. There is no evidence whatsoever. There has never been any at any moment or point. Every single Trump election lawsuit was thrown out due to this lack of evidence. All 62 of them. If there was, they would have not only shown it, they would have screamed it from the rooftops of the world. They would have lawyers showing evidence under oath, even if it was tiny. Which means that they had absolutely nothing. Not one tiny shred. No. He's lying. The penalty for knowingly lying in court is perjury and disbarment. They brought 66 cases claiming election fraud rigging to court and lost 66 cases, often in front of Trump-appointed judges. They never once claimed they had evidence in court. Disbarred perjury, but were happy to put on a show in front of cameras for the droolers watching on TV. Trump was such a well-known liar, he's literally been parodied as such since the 80s. Dude bragged on 9/11 his tower was now the tallest. And wasn't even telling the truth. Correct. He will lie about absolutely anything to make himself seem better. Evidence is that privately he knows it wasn't rigged at all. Meadows just said as much this week. I believe it's all an act. Trump is a con man and this is part of his con job. Trump doesn't even believe it. This was the most scrutinized election in the history of mankind. Literally. And it is clear that Biden won handily. As a New Yorker, I can tell you he is lying and always had. We warned America, but nobody listened. Honestly, I think the reason Trump goes so hard on the stolen election is that he did a lot of dishonest and crooked things and still lost. The narcissist cannot conceive of anyone who simply does not think the same way they themselves do. Therefore, in his warped narcissistic brain, that means everyone else must just have cheated harder. And he has a tough time admitting to himself that he failed at something. For the people that think the election was fraudulent, the only proof they have, and the only proof they need to believe it, is that it didn't go their way. He's lying. But not only to us. He's lying to himself. His ego and personal narrative won't allow him to admit that he's ever lost, failed, or not been the best in any situation. That's why he says things like doesn't like me very much, or he calls people mean and nasty. If someone doesn't like him, they must have something wrong with them. If he looks bad or fucks up, it's because someone is sabotaging him. If he loses, it's because the winner cheated. He knows there was corruption because his side did it. The only evidence that has been turned has proved that. All of their evidence is made up BS they saw on TV or something Uncle Cletus said on Facebook. It's been proven in court that it was rigged in favor of Republicans, who still lost. If his mouth is open, he's lying. But he's also narcissistic enough to completely believe in his own lies. Tell yourself something enough and it becomes truth in your mind. There is corruption in our election process. The corruption is the election deniers trying to actively destroy our democracy. Conservatives are no different than the Nazi Party at this point. He knows he didn't win. But he's a classic narcissist, and lying and manipulation is just the way he rolls. Done it all his life. He has never been held accountable his entire life for lying. To him, that's just what you do. He's probably a classic psychopath too. He only functions as a human if he convinces himself he is right and he is on top of it all. Plenty of Trumps in this world, unfortunately. If you're unable to distinguish between something that is plausible and that which is exceedingly unlikely after evaluating all the evidence, then you are either obtuse, disingenuous, or both. I defend your question, sir. In 2020, more than 70 million people could not see Trump for what he is, and voted for him. I wish more people would get over party tribalism and vote for outcomes. The cap on prescription drug costs alone will do more for Trump's base than anything he did as president while in control of all three houses. I'll make this easy. There is absolutely no evidence in any way, shape, or form that the Democrats in any way did anything illegal to steal or influence the outcome of the election. After investigations, the only fraud found were individual Republicans doing illegal voting. Trump may personally believe the lies he spews, but what goes on in his mind is not based in reality. In other words, he's a fucking liar. The answer to your question is yes. Yes. There is not a shred of proof. The only people who don't understand this are the ones who will believe anything that Trump says. Because I 100% guarantee you that Trump himself is well aware of this. It's what he does. It's his whole shtick. He's been doing it for decades. You just say whatever it takes to accomplish whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. And if anyone questions you, you double down. And then you triple down. And in this case, I have no idea how many thousands of times he's said it, but it's not going to change facts. No, there isn't a shred of proof. Elections in the US are secure because they verify IDs and it is difficult to hack voting machines. Additionally, many people are too busy to vote as they have to work on voting day. A smart, law-abiding citizen will not risk their life to commit fraud and go to jail. It just doesn't make sense. Conspiracy theories make it seem easy to manipulate elections. But it is their intention to instill fear. The former president is deceitful and will go to any lengths to manipulate your beliefs. Here's another thing: if you look at Trump's record of lying, the only conclusion a reasonable person can reach is that when his lips are moving, or his fingers typing, he's lying. He knows he lost. He just can't accept that he lost. There is an easy way to know if Trump is lying: his lips are moving. If there was any underhanded fuckery Republicans could have used to keep Trump in office, they absolutely would have. Thus, the coup insurrection. Joe Biden won the election. Period. No, I don't think he believes it himself either. But I think he believes he can convince others if he keeps repeating it. My man, Trump is the most obvious liar of all time. He's lying. He knows he's lying. His die-hard followers don't care that he's lying. He simply hates the same things they do, albeit for different reasons. Trump is what happens in the US when the voting public has the gall to elect a black person. There is no proof. They've all had years to show any proof. And they never do. No proof. No Kraken. No red wave. Nothing. Just perjury and treason. Anyone who believes in him, in 2023, should probably have their licenses and firearms taken away before they hurt someone.